Let's throw some jabs.
The fight starts now!
Well, Sergio, there could be an interested observer ringside for Regis Prograis' 140-pound title defense on Saturday. Devin Haney, the undisputed 135-pound champion, he took to social media recently and says he called Eddie Hearn about making a fight between Haney and Prograis and that he is thinking about coming to New Orleans to watch the fight. Sergio, right now, who would you favor in a Haney-Prograis fight?
Wow. Yeah. Putting me on the spot like that, I would have to just right off the bat say Regis Prograis. He's a natural 140 pounder, a very smart, strong southpaw. The resume's there, the power's there, the style's there, the hunger's there. And ever since losing that fight, Regis Prograis has gone on 4 straight wins, all 4 by knockout. I think power will be the deciding factor here. And Haney has already been shook at 135. I think if he steps up 5 pounds north, it's going to be a big difference against a monster like Regis Prograis.
Let me just say this first. I think a lot of the backlash that Devin Haney has received over the last few weeks has been ridiculous. It was a close fight between Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko. It could have gone either way. But you know what happens when you have the best fighting the best? You get a lot of close fights that could have gone either way. The idea that Haney against Lomachenko was some kind of robbery is ludicrous. Devin Haney won that fight fair and square. It's fine if you scored it a different way, but don't say that fight was a robbery. Devin Haney earned that decision. I bring that up, Sergio, because right now we're seeing Regis Prograis' stock be at its highest. Like Regis Prograis was just competed for by multiple promotional outfits. He's got a 3-fight deal with Matchroom that we believe is going to lead to a title unification fight at some point in the next year. Whereas Devin Haney, even though he's the undisputed champion at 135, his stock maybe has slipped a little bit, where people are saying, he should have gotten beat by Lomachenko, or his chin would never hold up to Gervonta Davis's power, or if he goes to 140, he's avoiding Shakur Stevenson. Like, that's actually a fact that should be in play. I think Devin Haney in a matchup with Prograis would be unbelievably underrated. Now, to go against Prograis, you're going to have to outbox him. But Devin Haney has shown that outside of Shakur Stevenson, there aren't many guys in that 130, 135 weight class that could outbox him. And by not having to cut down to 135, which has been extremely difficult, he's going to be in better shape. His chin's probably going to be a little bit stronger. I think that is an ultra-competitive fight. If it happened tomorrow, I would probably favor Regis Prograis by just a little bit, but more likely than not, if Devin Haney takes on Prograis, it's going to be after he gets one fight at 140 to get used to that weight class. After that, complete pick'em. And you know what? I think Devin Haney's skills are so sharp that if this fight took place in 6 to 8 months, I would favor Devin Haney in that fight.
There's a lot to absorb there. Let's go back to the Lomachenko. He took a lot of stuff for that, Haney did, but you got to remember, Lomachenko's a smaller fighter, older fighter coming up. So if he made it that close, a smaller fighter, a natural 126-pounder at 135 pounds against the best, the elite in Devin Haney, in a fight that a lot of people thought Lomachenko won, including myself, then how are you going to favor Haney moving up another weight division north against a legitimate power puncher in Regis Prograis? That's where you have to kind of start weighing the factors. And Prograis, he's 4-0, 4 knockouts since, so he's believing in his power. He's maturing. The age doesn't matter there because he hasn't physically been beaten down. Neither has Haney. It's a prime fight, and I don't think moving up to 140 is avoiding Shakur Stevens. Everyone's going to avoid Shakur Stevens. It's just the wrong style matchup for everyone. Devin Haney's making the right decisions, fighting the right fighters. He became undisputed by fighting one fighter pretty much. That's George Kambosos. Not blaming him. But if he goes to 140, the belts are, as you like to say, fractured. And one of them that has those belts is Regis Prograis. So that's a good step forward. And Prograis, yeah, he's a monster. They don't call him Rougarou for nothing, man.
He is a monster. But if those two guys stepped in the ring, physically, Devin Haney might be the bigger man there. Wouldn't be the bigger puncher, but Rougarou, height-wise would be smaller than Devin Haney. And Devin Haney's boxing skills and his chin, I think, would benefit from the extra 5 pounds. Sergio, you know as well as anyone how difficult it is to cut down to a weight that you're no longer fully comfortable at. I mean, I think that's where Devin Haney's at this point in his career. And I just think he's going to be a lot stronger, a lot more mobile, a lot more technical. His chin's going to be better at 140 pounds. Not to take away from what Regis Prograis might be able to do, but there's this theory out there that Prograis would be just too strong, that would maul Devin Haney. I just don't buy that. I think Devin Haney is going to be a very, very sharp 140-pounder, and it won't be long till he's collecting belts in that weight class.
I agree with everything except the punch resistance. I think when you move up in weight, the chin doesn't get any muscles. It doesn't get any stronger. So if Haney
but doesn't
shook,
it lose? Doesn't it lose something at one? If you go, of course it does. When you cut down in weight, it costs you something, right? Like That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. When you're dehydrating and dwindling down, yes, your punch resistance goes down because you're making weight and you're not at your strongest. But if you're moving up in weight to 140, and these guys are naturally coming down from 150 plus, you're going to be the natural fighter. And if you got rocked by a puncher at 135, imagine what a real puncher like a Prograis, who's a legitimate puncher from that southpaw angle, if he cracks you with one of those left hands, how are you going to take that, at 140 plus? So yeah, I would have to favor Prograis, especially if after this next fight, he continues riding that knockout streak, because the knockouts are getting good for Prograis. 4-0, 4 knockouts.
Let me give you something we both will absolutely agree upon. Devin Haney has done everything possible to make the biggest fights over the last couple of years. In 2021, he fought Jorge Linares and Jojo Diaz when Diaz was kind of peaking after that win over Javier Fortuna. He made a deal where he had to go to Australia twice to fight George Kambosos, came away with all the belts at 135, and he fought Lomachenko when he really wasn't under any obligation to do that type of fight. He could have moved up after winning the belts from a guy like Kambosos. So I give Devin Haney an enormous amount of credit for saying, you know what? I'm thinking about going to 140. And if I go to 140, I want that guy, the guy that's being looked at as the boogeyman in the division.
If he does that, all respect to Devin Haney, because that man, he turned everything into the dream that he wanted.